Hi everyone, my name's Trevor. Welcome to our webinar on Windows 365, where we will be exploring the exciting world of cloud PCs and how it can revolutionise the way we work. Today we'll be joined by Belinda and Andrew from Microsoft, who will be covering a range of topics where you will gain some valuable insights on Windows 365. This brings the operating system to the cloud and gives you the full Windows experience on any device as a cloud PC.
Hi, my name is Belinda Gorsevski. I am the Microsoft Modern Work Specialist for Education. Over the past 8 years, I've been working across the education sector, focusing on end-user compute. As an industry, we've come a long way in realising the value and role technology plays in the classroom. Whilst we've defined the teaching and learning benefits, we've heard out loud that the end-user compute within the edu sector does come with some operational challenges. The education sector is rather diverse, catering for a range of different stakeholders, including institution staff, students, large contingent staff, even researchers, across dense and remote campuses with complex environments. To add to that complexity, we have a varying degree of deployment methodologies, including one-to-one, shared machines, choose your own device, bring your own device, managed and unmanaged. Not to mention catering for a diverse range of demographics, both young and old. Here are the most consistent challenges I see across the education industry. The increasing complexity when it comes to procurement processes, managing vendor deliveries, stock, and total lifecycle management, but also the complexity to securely monitor, control, and update with limited IT resources. With the increases in total cost of living and the challenges this is placing on our student numbers, the total cost of ownership, not just the upfront cost, but the total life cycle cost across our large fleets, is quickly becoming the largest expenditure for our institutions. The ability to provide true device as a service offerings that allow for increases or decreases in student and staff numbers, but also the ability to respond to rapid spec changes required by emerging software and technologies. Our educators are demanding equality in the classroom, equality when it comes to performance and software, but also uptime and predictability of tools. This is so they can leverage these when it comes to their lesson plans, all whilst our students are asking for choice. With a 29% increase in cyber attacks in the edu sector, protecting our data is more important than ever, whilst balancing access required to materials. With an industry that has 60% of our customers using some form of BYOD, we need a better way to provide users access while limiting those vulnerabilities. Shared machines have been a challenge for a number of years. They are slow to load user profiles, performance and management challenges, and for our junior schools, passwords too complex for them to recall. For students who start their work in the classroom, there is no simple way for them to continue exactly where they left off when they get home. Microsoft is uniquely positioned to address these challenges. We are at a significant point in the future of Windows, fundamentally providing a momentous shift in the way we allow you to provide your users access to Windows. Windows 365 is the future of Windows that can help address all these concerns and more. I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Lowson, our Windows Cloud Lead for Australia and New Zealand, who will talk to you in detail about what Windows 365 is and how it can be used to help solve these challenges.
Thank you very much for the introduction. As mentioned, my name's Andrew Lowson. I'm part of the Windows Cloud team here at Microsoft. I'm the lead for our Windows Cloud effort here in Australia and New Zealand. I'm really excited here today to be able to talk to you about how we're driving innovation in the Windows ecosystem. So, we really see the future of Windows being either in the cloud or powered by the cloud. As we move into a new era of generative AI and AI-powered experiences, we feel that Microsoft's in a very unique position to take the investments we've got in our data centers and our hyperscale cloud platform, the fact that we build and update Windows and new forms of devices, new opportunities into the future. And that's why we think we're uniquely placed as we move Windows to the cloud to be able to deliver a full end experience for our end users and organizations and customers. And this is something we've outlined to people like Gartner, and in their inaugural 23 Magic Quadrant for DaaS, we were really humbled by the position they gave us ahead of traditional players, and put Microsoft well ahead of the pack. And then, with this move to the cloud, we're introducing this new category called a cloud PC. And if you think of a cloud PC, it can be thought of as two things. First of all, it can be thought of how we take a whole bunch of complexity and cost out of your organization and move it to the cloud to drive simplicity and move that legacy VDI into a SaaS service. But it can also be thought of, and really what we want to drill in today, is this new category called the cloud PC. So you have desktops, laptops, tablets, two-in-ones, but you now have cloud PCs. And it doesn't mean just because you buy a desktop, doesn't mean you'll never buy a laptop or vice versa. So think of a cloud PC as a new category of PC that you can deliver for certain scenarios, which we'll dig into in a minute. It makes sense to give them a cloud PC and not a physical PC. And our goal around this cloud PC through Windows 365 is that it's not something separate. First, it's something that you think of, that is managed, acts, and is used just like a physical device. You do not need a separate team or a separate set of packages or policies or anything. You can manage your Windows 365 cloud PC just like any other PC, sitting right alongside your physical devices. So you have one team with one set of policies, one set of applications, one set of settings, going down to either physical or a virtual cloud PC. And then it's just up to you to decide what's the most appropriate experience to give to that user. And yes, there's a massive drive towards modern management and Entra-ID joined machines. But with Windows 365, we also still support SCCM and hybrid joined devices as well. And you have the opportunity, because at the end of the day, it's a SaaS service, to mix and match that deployment and architectures, whether Entra-ID, pure Intune managed, or essentially joined to your AD and managed by SCCM. The choice is you, and you can deploy cloud PCs across all different architectures in the one environment. So before we dig in, the four key things I think you should know about Windows 365 are: one, it's a SaaS service. It's a don't build, buy. It brings all the inclusive simplification and benefits of a SaaS service. We manage BCP, DR, we manage scale, deployment across the globe. You don't have to worry about any of the infrastructure, servers, or build out. Think of it like the move from Exchange to Exchange Online. Then the second thing is around simplified management. With Windows 365 and cloud PCs, we want to deliver the best possible Microsoft 365 experience from Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, right through to Microsoft Teams. But we want to make it really simple for you to manage by not having a separate team, about having one team that manages your environment in Intune or SCCM, and you don't have to upskill them in the world of VDI. You don't even need Azure to deploy Windows 365. Think again like the move from Exchange to Exchange Online. So the third point is really around leveraging existing PC management skills. It's the fact you do not need to invest either in external through partners or internal in new VDI skills. You can take your existing PC management skills, whether in SCCM and or Intune, and apply them to Windows 365 today and deploy Windows 365 cloud PCs tomorrow, and have a single set of applications, settings, and policies sitting in your existing physical device management toolset. And then the fourth point, and the crucial point to me, is Windows 365 is the future of Windows. As we move Windows into the age of generative AI and deliver new experiences, new device types, and really redefine again what you consider to be a Windows experience, Windows 365 and this concept, this new category called Cloud PC, is to the core of that. And you'll see that over the coming months and years. So with Windows 365 today, it is one service, as I mentioned, managed by us through SaaS. But today we have two different subscription models. First of all is Windows 365 Enterprise, which is one subscription, one user, one cloud PC available 24/7. Think of it like you've given someone a dedicated PC, they can use it anytime, anywhere. Then we've got Frontline. And look, it follows the great traditions of Microsoft of being badly named. It's not just for our Frontline offerings. It really, think of it like Flex offering, where it's either a shift-based, shift 1, 2, and 3, or it might be a team of where you have a team of 300 people, but you only need 100 of those at once to be able to access their cloud PC. And it follows exactly the same model as Enterprise, where everyone gets their own individual cloud PC that has their persistent, dedicated experience to them with all their files and settings, just like a physical device. But the subscription is shared across 3 people. And out of those 3 people, only one can access them at a time. So if you have 100 subscriptions, you can deploy 300 cloud PCs, but only 100 of that concurrent pool can access their cloud PCs at once. But everyone still gets their own dedicated cloud PC with persistent storage, and it's still managed like a physical PC. And when we think of Enterprise or Frontline, we offer machine types, again, just like physical, from small 4 gig, 64 gig 2-core machines that are really meant for that task worker that, using web applications, etc., right through to the highest 16-core, 64 gig, 1 terabyte machines, with soon to come, in the coming months, GPUs, and I'll go into more in that in a second. So you're able to deploy, whether it be an Enterprise or Frontline, across multiple different machine types, and think of it just like a physical device. So when you're thinking of what cloud PCs to deploy for users, think of it like physical. How much RAM do they need? How much storage do they need? How much horsepower do they need? Except that generally what we see with customers is they take a step down, because cloud PCs don't have battery or thermal throttling issues that traditionally is impacted particularly mobile devices. So our most popular machine types here in ANZ is 8 gig 2 cores, 128s, and 16 gig 4 core 128s. And the reason I mentioned 128 is the cloud PC is sitting right in our data centers, right next to your Microsoft 365, your OneDrive, and your Outlook. But you do not need a large hard drive to sync stuff down. You can do everything on demand because you have incredible performance sitting in the back end and fiber connected services across our data centers. So when we think of, we've been in market for coming up to 3 years now of Windows 365. And if we think across a broad set of customers in ANZ here, we really see some top customer use cases. And whether you be in our growth markets like financial services and federal government, or in our retail customers, or in education customers, generally the actual use cases are all the same. And I always made the joke in the first 12 months that maybe we should call it Windows 365 for developers, because 40% of the use cases for Windows 365 were developers. Where developers were moving to smaller, lighter weight machines, but then having powerful cloud PCs with all the benefits I'll show in a minute around ability to reset, restore, and end user really increase the productivity of those developers by giving them end user tools. And then we've got contractors is another big one, whether in country or overseas, where traditionally organizations have given out a physical device. They give them a cloud PC, and that contractor or external partner brings their own device in, whether it be Windows, Mac, or a Chromebook, and they leverage an enterprise managed, secured Windows 365 cloud PC. And then we're increasingly, over this, particularly the last 12, 18 months, seeing an increase in customers wanting to move off legacy VDI implementations into Windows 365 and reap all the benefits around simplification and ease of management of a SaaS service and the ability they no longer need to have a separate set of applications and settings and config for their VDI platform. They can bring that all into their either SCCM or Intune and manage it as a single set of applications, policies, and settings across both physical and virtual. And then, as mentioned, external partners, whether you be the federal government delivering citizen services, or whether you be external partners as in overseas contractors or overseas organizations providing services to you, cloud PCs have seen incredible growth with that. And then also another area we've seen a lot of growth is where either in the commercial sector, mergers and acquisitions, where you're either buying an organization or spinning off an organization, or in our public sector customers, where you have machinery of governments and a group of users go from one agency to another, but the application stays where they originally were. We've seen a lot of use cases of Windows 365 there. And then, we've been through COVID, we've had the sort of hybrid revolution, and a lot of organizations are still really reaping the benefits of a hybrid remote workforce. I work a lot with state government here in Australia, and they, really tapping into that remote work, and they are looking at increasingly leveraging cloud PCs for those remote hybrid workers, where people, at home have a pretty good setup, they have their own devices, they're comfortable with them, and they don't really want to take home a corporate government laptop. They just want to be able to access the government services. And that's where something like a cloud PC comes in really well. The end users get the benefits of BYOD and their own devices and what they're comfortable with. Government and the agency departments get the benefit of being able to secure that data, secure the experience, while providing best-in-class experiences around Microsoft 365 and Teams, etc. So before we sort of dive in and show you Windows 365, I just sort of want to touch on some of the future experiences that we're delivering today for customers. First is boot on Windows 11, which I'll dive into in a minute. But we also have switch. So if you have a Windows 365 cloud PC and a Windows 11 device, instead of sort of going into Windows 365 and your cloud PC and wondering how do I switch back to my physical, you can just use the task switcher in Windows itself to flip between Windows 365 cloud PC and your physical device. So unlike in the traditional VDI experience where you got one OS on top of another OS, we're putting them side by side and you can flip easily between each other. Think of that developer experience. Then we introduced Windows Frontline, giving more options, making the economic model a lot better, a lot more flexible for a lot of those frontline, shift-based, flexible, part-time experiences. And then we got, really starting to dip our toe into the mobile experience with enhanced Android experience, where you can basically take a mobile phone, in this case a Motorola phone, plug in a USB-C cable, and your cloud PC comes up on the big attached monitor, and using a docking station, you have full keyboard and mouse, but your phone's still a phone. And we're seeing increased uptake in that sort of phone in your PC in a pocket experience, particularly for remote shift-based hybrid workers, where they just need, instead of taking a large physical device to get back to organization, they just take in their phone, plug it into a docking station, keyboard, mouse, big screen, and they're using a full Windows experience. Not a cut-down version like you may have had in the past with, I'm sure my age here, the Nokia 950s, or with Samsung DeX, etc. So let's delve into boot a bit more. So with Windows 365, we have this boot experience. So at the end device, imagine the user coming up to an end device, could be a shared device in this scenario. They go log in using either NFC, FIDO, or Windows Hello, or traditional username and password. They log in, and instead of going to local machine, they actually go to the cloud PC and get full Windows experience there. And then when they walk away from that cloud PC, someone else walks up, from that physical device. They walk up to that physical device, they log in, and they go to their cloud PC. So it really solves the problem of that shared device hell, where you have a shared device, it's not a great experience, it's really complicated to manage, it's insecure. So you have a physical device, you send a package down by Intune, we've got a wizard in Intune that does that, turn that into a boot device, it can be a very minimal, cheap as chips PC as long as it runs Windows 11 Pro. And then you turn that into a boot device. And then as users come along, they go into their own individual cloud PCs. Nothing stored on the local device. Is basically just an access point. And even though it's it's really lightweight, actually, skip that. You still have the benefits of being able to, when you're in your cloud PC, still have the benefits of being able to access things like local Bluetooth settings. So if you've gone into a shared device but gone to your cloud PC, but you want to do a Teams call, for instance, you got a pair of AirPods or headphones, you can still go in the cloud PC, Bluetooth settings, and add the headphones into your cloud PC and use it through the Bluetooth stack in the local physical device. And we're introducing things like battery monitoring, etc., in the cloud PC as well. So if you're on a mobile device like this, you can see how much battery is left, even though you're using a cloud PC in our data center. And we recently announced the ability to be able to apply your own branding to that. So in shared mode, you can apply your own branding. It could be educational branding in there for your organization, your school or academica. And you can have, make it really personal to the end users, really make it a really great experience. They understand who owns and manages that device. We also have ability of be able to do that via I'll start again. 3, 2, 1. As well as shared mode, we also have dedicated mode, where you can take maybe a mobile device, really cheap, lightweight device, and turn it into a personal boot for cloud PC. So every time I log in here, get the normal Windows Hello, camera, pin, whatever, I go, instead of the local device, I go into the cloud PC. And funny enough, a lot of our leadership in the Windows 365 team use that so that their battery on their device lasts all day because the actual power, CPU, RAM, etc. is being used in the cloud PC. All that device is basically providing keyboard and screen. So it starts to hint into some of the areas we're working with Windows 365. And when we look forward, a couple of months, we'll be introducing our Windows 365 GPU. We've got that currently in private preview. So even you imagine a world where you got a super cheap, lightweight device, you can give that user a very powerful GPU experience, regardless of the local physical. And maybe Andrew Mays or a project, and I need a GPU only for a month. So you upscale me to a GPU device for that particular month. You just upgrade the CPU, the cloud PC through Intune. I'm back and running within 5-10 minutes. All my data and settings are preserved. I've got a GPU. And then at the end of the project, I flip back to a non-GPU cloud PC, again, without destroying any of my data. Also, we're enabling AI management. So we'll be delivering a whole bunch of new reporting through Intune for Windows 365, where we'll be leveraging Intune to tell you things like, for instance, who's not you may give out a bunch of cloud PCs to contractors, vendors, or remote people, but they're not using it. We'll tell you who's got low utilizations, who's not really using their cloud PC. We'll tell you maybe who you've been, that need to resize up because they've got high CPU and RAM. But also we'll tell you maybe who you've been too generous with in size of cloud PC and you can downsize. So you can really have simplified and smarter cloud PC management through Intune. We're delivering a bunch of security features to Windows 365 today and into the future. We've got SSO and password authentication. We're also have introduced watermarking and screen capture protection. With screen capture protection, we actually block the ability of the users doing screen capture on the physical device. What happens if they bring their the mobile phone? Everyone's got a mobile phone with a camera. What happens if they take a photo of it? That's where watermarking comes in. We'll put a QR code on every cloud PC screen, essentially. And if that image gets leaked, you can use that QR code to find which user, which cloud PC that came from. And also for enhanced, particularly in areas like FSI, we're introducing customer lockbox and customer managed keys as enhanced options for customers wanting to leverage that to provide compliance and assurity around data and management. So before I sort of dive in and show you Windows 365, we're really seeing sort of three key areas of benefits. One is around efficiency. Just the fact that you can spin up cloud PCs just like a physical PC without any additional VDI build out. The ability that you're going to drastically reduce help desk calls through the fact that these are native Microsoft 365 experiences and not traditional VDI. You're going to reduce, particularly areas like BYOD, reduce physical handling of physical devices and really increase the speed of IT and operations with the organization of delivering Windows 365 experiences. You're also going to drive through the fact that Windows 365 is a SaaS service, incredible simplification. Going from 5 days to 20 minutes to provision a cloud PC over a physical device. And the fact that, because this is a SaaS service, you go from multiple different subscriptions and options and vendors you got to manage across licensing, hardware, storage, backup, etc., to one physical subscription. And working with one particular customer, they actually reduced their VDI team from a team of 17 external contractors down to a single person within their PC management tool to manage thousands of cloud PCs. And the fact is that Windows 365 deploys cloud PCs in an automated fashion. You don't need to manually deploy cloud PCs. You just need to attach a license to a user and they will automatically get a cloud PC. And all that efficiency and simplification really equals enhanced employee experience. Really reaping the benefits over their existing PC experience by delivering native Microsoft 365 optimized Windows experience to those users. And interestingly enough, in Microsoft, for our 4-year refresh cycle, we now offer employees the option of either a physical device or a cloud PC. And for the users that pick cloud PC, we've seen the net promoter score for that as 156 over traditional VDI offerings, like AVD, etc. Also, we're seeing that 56% of people, when offered the choice between physical or cloud PC, are picking a cloud PC as their future PC experience at Microsoft. So really, with Windows 365, think of it as a new category of PC. It's called a cloud PC. It can either dramatically reduce the complexity of your existing VDI environment or introduce a new category of PC that you can leverage where it makes sense, maybe in developers, contractors, external partners, hybrid workers with their own devices or BYOD programs. Or where you may have students that you have a BYOD device policy, but you want to provide a secure, managed Windows experience to those students via cloud PCs. So now we'll go off and I'll actually show you Windows 365. So with Windows 365, as you'd expect, we have, Windows app. We introduced this a few months ago. It's currently preview for Windows. We have iOS and Mac. We'll be soon releasing a preview for Android as well. And this new Windows app is single sign-on, sign in. I get to see all my different cloud PCs, if I've got streaming apps in AVD. It's really designed as a single app that goes across 16 different remoting protocols, terminal services, RDP, etc., and replaces multiple different apps that we used to deliver for remote experiences on Windows. And it also goes across the web as well. So you got a single app, single experience that looks the same, regardless of whether you're on a web browser, whether you're on Windows, Mac, iPad, or soon to be Android. And we have, if you give users access to Windows 365, they can download the app or just come in here to windows365.microsoft.com and access the web portal. And here you can see I've got one cloud PC. It's a 4 core, 16 gig, 256. If I had a BYD device or I didn't have the app and I wanted to put it on, I can come down here and get the app, whether it be my Windows, Mac, or Android or iOS device. But before I jump in, I just want to show you, some end user tools that I can use as an end user. It stops or reduces my need to call the help desk or IT. So for instance, I can come in and restart my cloud PC. Maybe I've got a long running process that I want to kill, or I just want to restart it. That's one of the big number one asks for traditional VDI, which isn't available today. I can also reset it. I can actually, maybe I'm a developer and I've got a new project and I just want a fresh machine again. If you enable the users, and all these settings are enabled by you, IT, so you can either give the user the power to do this or make it a help desk call. But here I've been allowed, and I can press reset, and what that will do was it will give me a brand new cloud PC. Just think of it like resetting your physical device. Maybe I am a developer, and this morning I put a new Python library or a Rust library on my development cloud PC, and I borked it, and I want to go back to where I was before. So I can, if I've been enabled, I can go back and select a restore point. Let's pick, let's pick this one. And I can press restore, and that will bring the cloud PC back to exactly what it was at 8:05 p.m. that date. And every single cloud PC, whether you're enterprise or frontline, gets 14 snapshots. So 10 are defined by you, the IT, either 4, 6, 12, 16, or 24 hours, and 4 weeklies. So you have a whole month of coverage. And this is really great from 2 points. One, from an end user point of view. If I bork my machine, I can easily bring it back, or I just want it back to the way it was yesterday. Also IT. Maybe you've got a bad Windows patch or a bad application patch coming down to your PCs. Imagine a world where you can just go into Intune and restore a whole bunch of PCs back to a known good state. Or maybe you've had a ransomware attack, and you can leverage the restore functionality through snapshots on Windows 365 to bring all your cloud PCs back to the point before ransomware hit. So you don't need to worry about the ransomware attack. You can just basically wind time back to that particular point before the attack happened. And in here, I can also rename it. This only renames it for me. And then I can come in, and maybe I'm having issues connecting to my cloud PC. I can run essentially an inspection or fix-it tool. Then we'll see, is it my PC? Is it my ISP at home? Is it my cloud? Is it the service? And try and fix it for me. So it's really helpful for any user. So all these tools remove the need for me, a user, having to call the help desk. I can self-serve and self-help. And whether you're in the web, whether you're in Windows, whether you're on iOS, Android, or whatever, all these tools are available to you as an end user, if that's what's been enabled by IT. So let's just jump into Windows 365. Now, I actually prefer the browser app. There's something magical for me, be able to access full Windows experience through the browser. But, so Windows 365, we support anything running on a modern browser upwards. And in here, you can see all these settings that can be enabled through either GPOs or settings catalog in Intune. And you can say, does this cloud PC interact? How much does it interact with a local device? Do you allow things like printer, file transfer, microphone, clipboard, camera for things like Teams and Zooms, etc., location? You can make the cloud PC as locked down as you want and isolated from the local device, maybe in a BYOD scenario, or as interactive and integrated into the local device as you require. USB-C, storage, file transfer, camera, microphone, etc. Also, we support things like alternative keyboard layouts as well. So if you have maybe overseas and have a different language locally, you can support that. So we're just going to go straight back into Cloud PC. And I'm going to pick up exactly where I left off. So I've got a Windows 365 Enterprise. I've come back in. It's basically, just think of it like me coming up to my physical device and doing, unlock. I've gone back in exactly where I left off. So if I have a long running process or compiling or something, Photoshop things running in the background, I can go walk away, come back. These Windows 365 cloud PCs are always on, always available, so they're super easy to update and manage from a management and update point of view. Now, we have a couple of options when you're thinking of the deployment architectures for Windows 365. You can have full Entra ID joined cloud PCs, or you can have hybrid joined cloud PCs where the computer object sits in your on-prem AD. So, and the beauty of Windows 365 being a SaaS service is you can mix and match. You can have some Entra ID and then some hybrid joined cloud PCs as well. And then when we think of networking, you can do full Entra ID, Microsoft network option, Microsoft hosted network, which has no additional charges, is super high speed, which I'll show you in a minute. And think of it, if you have an Entra ID cloud PC, joint cloud PC with the Microsoft network, think of it like an extranet device sitting at home. You'd probably put some of that VPN client on it to connect back through to on-premise network. But if you do want the full on-premise network experience or full control over VNets and what that user sees, then you can bring your own network, either be Azure site-to-site or an express route. And in that case, we actually create the virtual NIC for that cloud PC in your Azure subscription. Then you have full control over VNets, RSGs, et cetera, et cetera. But this cloud PC here follows exactly the same model as all of Microsoft's and my colleagues' physical devices, where essentially it's an extranet device. It's Entra ID joined, uses a Microsoft network, straight to the cloud. And if I need access to on-prem, I can just turn on my VPN and I can go back on-prem. And this has some real benefits. As I mentioned, there's no additional charges to this, but also it gives me great performance. So I can, I'm going to get generally over a gigabytes per second up and down depending on time of day. So I'm getting gigabytes up, gigabytes down. My cloud PC is going to be sitting right next to my Microsoft 365. And if you've got it Azure, so I'm going to get great performance for things like OneDrive, Outlook, etc., Teams. And because you're not bringing a existing network, it's all on us. You've got that surety of the SLA. We're managing that network. And also, because you don't have any additional landing zones or anything to create, you can deploy Windows 365 to any supported region around the globe, whether it be here in Australia and New Zealand, whether it be in Singapore, whether it be in Europe or the US. You can make that decision of where you want to deploy Windows 365 cloud PCs, no additional charge over the normal subscription, and no additional complexity of additional networking if you choose the Microsoft hosted network option. And you end up with great performance. Imagine sitting on a PC and doing your work and getting gigabytes up and down. And it doesn't really matter once you're in your cloud PC, it doesn't really matter how bad your network connection is. Once you're in it, you're going to get great performance from your Microsoft 365 services, but also out to the internet through the Microsoft network. Now, even though this is a browser, I can still come here and go full screen and remove the whole Chrome of the browser and get a fully immersive Windows experience. Again, this is browser only, no install. Think of that BYD device, etc. Now, of course, if you want to have multiple monitor setups, that's where you'd use the rich client across Windows, Android, iOS, or Mac. But essentially, that is your introduction to Windows 365. Windows 365 is a SaaS service, so you don't need to build anything. Leverage your existing PC management skills today. We're going to deliver best-in-class Microsoft 365 experiences and full-blown Windows. And fourth, it's the future of Windows itself. And you'll see over the coming months and years how we change the definition of what is a Windows device through Windows 365 and cloud PCs. It's been great being here, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Andrew. You may have noticed during Belinda's presentation that she referenced the challenges we see with shared machines and junior school logins. Surface combined with Windows 365 is uniquely positioned to leverage the NFC capability available on Surface Pro 10 and Surface Go. By using a multi-factor authenticator key such as the one I'm holding, a student is safely and securely able to tap and log in to their own personal computer experience. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Belinda, for your informative presentations. We now have a better understanding on how Windows 365 bridges the gap between traditional devices, desktops, and the cloud, while offering flexibility, cost savings, security, personalization, and ease of management. Compnow provides IT custom built for your needs. If you would like to know more about integrating Windows 365 into your organisation, please get in touch with your Compnow account manager or email us at info@compnow.com.au.